Hello, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about junior year. If you have a son or daughter who's a rising junior, today you might want to tune in to this episode. Yesterday, we talked about sophomores and how to avoid the sophomore slump, the complacency that sometimes grips some sophomores because they're not quite the lowly freshmen and they're not getting pounced on like the juniors. Today, we tackle junior year. Hello, everybody. I'm Phil Black. I run an online mentoring program called PrepWell Academy, where I help advise and mentor rising freshmen, juniors, sophomores, and seniors to help them make smart decisions about high school, about managing their time, about balancing grades and common sense and health and relationships, as well as college choices and careers and life. I was a former Navy SEAL, Goldman Sachs investment banker, went to Yale as an undergrad, played basketball, went to Harvard Business School. I'm a firefighter now, entrepreneur, been on Shark Tank. I've got 4 kids going through this college admissions process, and I've been working with kids for the last few years with a lot of great news, stories, and pattern recognition. So today let's talk about and dig into junior year. We probably all know that it's a rough year. It's a brutal year. It's the year that your son or daughter needs to put out the most. So I want to talk about it a little bit, make sure you give them a little slack and you understand what they're going through, and also to make sure that they are prioritizing what matters most. Let's go through a couple things on their plate. Number 1, academics. The classes that they take. Usually you take the most rigorous academic course load junior year. That's number 1. Number 2, standardized tests. The old ACT and SAT coming to bite you. That's number 2. Number 3, extracurricular activities. Usually that's when you're hitting your stride, junior year, whether it's Boy Scouts or sports or some kind of a club, debate club, whatever it is. Junior year, you're sometimes positioned to take a leadership role, which means time commitment. Number 4, positioning yourself to get a great letter of recommendation from your teachers next year. It doesn't take work next year, it takes work this year as a junior to ensure that next year, when you need a letter of recommendation, you have laid the appropriate groundwork. That's important. And lastly, number 5, a little bit of research, preliminary look at college research. You got to have some idea about college research. Now, I'm going to prioritize these right now, and mostly the priority is what I just mentioned. And let me go through those again. So in priority order, if you're a junior in high school, the first thing I want you to focus on, pass this along to your son or daughter, is grades. It's the first filter that colleges are going to look at. And if you have a poor GPA, you're going to get screened out. So let's first focus on grades. Usually you're taking rigorous courses. That's number 1 priority. Number 2 priority is your SAT or your ACT score. Now, this is exactly why I recommend that your son or daughter takes an early SAT or ACT, August 26th to be exact for the SAT, early September for the ACT, so they can take one of these major blocks off their plate. They study for it over the summer, they're ready to go, they get the second biggest priority off their plate by the beginning of school. Not everybody does it. If you're a PrepWeller, you're going to do it because you've been told this for 3 or 4 months now. So you're prepared and ready to go. Priority number 3, in my mind, is extracurriculars. How you doing, John? Thanks for joining us. Extracurriculars, number 3, as I mentioned earlier. Junior year is typically the time where you flex your leadership muscle. Freshman year, sophomore year, you start moving up the ranks. If you're a PrepWeller, you've started to position yourself so that in junior year, you're able to grasp that leadership role. Not only because the colleges want it, that's beside the point, because I want to see you get after it and take a leadership role and see how you do. See if you like it, see how you don't like it. You're going to learn some lessons. And yes, the colleges happen to like people who take the bull by the horns and take a leadership position. After that is preliminary college research. Why is preliminary college research all the way at the bottom? Because If you're focused on college research and going to all these representative college fairs and you're taking trips to colleges and you don't do well in school and you don't do well in your SAT or your ACT, you could be spinning your wheels and wasting a lot of time looking at colleges and researching colleges that you have no business looking at. So I'd like you to take a little dip your toe in the college research scene, go to some college reps if they come to your high school. If you think you might be interested in going to the school, go and listen, of course, gather some information, but focus on the top 3 criteria: the rigor of your classes, how well you do in those classes, and how well you do on that SAT or ACT. And we'll move you into, towards the end of junior year, when you have what I call a body of work, which is strong enough and legitimate enough to figure out where you're going to sit with respect to different colleges. Then you can dig in a little bit harder and not waste your time researching colleges that you're either not qualified for or overqualified for. So put the pedal to the metal, work on those classes, that GPA, make sure you're taking those rigorous classes, take that SAT and ACT, nail it, think about a leadership position, one of these extracurricular activities, and make sure in the back of your mind you're positioning yourself well in one of your classes to get a killer letter of recommendation. So that's a lot of things to handle, which is why junior year can sometimes be brutal. Now, as I leave here, the one thing I will leave you with is, yes, junior year is going to be tough. Yes, you should suck it up. Yes, you should be working hard. Yes, you should motivate yourself. Yes, you may not be getting a lot of sleep, but don't sacrifice your health. Don't sacrifice family. Don't sacrifice relationships. And don't lose your common sense. Staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning every single morning may not be worth it if you're going to get mono, or you're going to get strep throat, or you're going to not perform well on your team or your game or your debate class, whatever it might be. That's what PrepWell Academy is all about. Getting you prepared ahead of time, giving you good study habits so that you don't have to pull an all-nighter, so that you're not ravaging your body with Red Bulls and caffeine and coffee and everything else. Prepare ahead of time so you've got this under control, even though it's going to be hard. Thank you for joining. If you know somebody who's got a rising junior in their midst, a son, a daughter, a friend, a relative, maybe a mentee, please share this message with them. Please put their name, tag them. This will pop up in their Facebook feed. Tell other people that I come out and try to give you a hint, a prompt, a tip, a little bit of guidance, something to get your mind right, because I live and breathe this every day. And I talk to kids every day, and I talk to parents every day. Some of you don't. Some of you actually have real jobs where this is not your main focus. So I try to come out here every day and give you a little love. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're out there. Let me know that this is helping. Give me a suggestion in the comments for what you want me to comment on tomorrow or the next day. And I'll do my best to address it. I want to meet your needs. And if nobody gives me a suggestion, I got plenty of stuff to talk about, because I hear stories, multiple stories, every single day. Thank you for joining. Thanks for the thumbs up, and see you tomorrow.